Hi again folks, how's all doing? This is a Hornby R2718 Britannia Class Firth of Clyde that was sent to me by a chap called Barrie. He said he got this off eBay and it's making a clicking sound and isn't running well at all. Let's turn on the power, see what happens. So yeah, there's definitely an issue there. It's probably mechanical. I didn't really hear a clicking, but it's lurching quite badly. So let's get her into the shed and we'll see what's up. A very nice looking model. It's got all the bits and bobs. We've got the speedometer link, which is intact. Yep, it's all very nice. But the problem it's displaying, yeah, I'm kind of guessing the gear is probably the drive gear, but we'll see. So this is locomotive driven. We've got a little plug to the tender to connect to the pickups, and I don't know if the DCC gubbins are in there or not. So the first thing I really want to do is to get a look at the drive gear and also test the movement with the motor disengaged. It all looks pretty clean. The pickups all seem to be touching. So it all seems tickety-boo, apart from it not running too well. Let's undo this screw. Now, what's attached to the body and what isn't? Does that lift? Yeah, that's all fine. So it's just the speedometer link we've got to disconnect. So this crank here is connected to the body there via this cable. So we need to remove the crank. Like so. And now we can remove the body. I think. I forgot that spacer on there as well. Don't want to lose that. Why is this not coming off? I think I'll remove. Let's get that out the road. Let's remove this. There we go. Gee whiz. So the DCC socket is there with an 8-pin blanking plate. Let's remove the underframe. And if the drive gear is split, I'm probably looking at a replacement wheel set for this. Both pickups are wired, which is good. Let's see if we can get a look at the drive gear. Of course, we're not going to have much in the way of wire there to play with, I don't think. There's never a long enough wire to allow you to pull this out. It's obviously assembled and then soldered up at the socket. So what we'll do is we'll remove the blanking plate and the socket. Blanking plate out. So if I unscrew the socket, it should give me a bit of slack in the wires to allow me to pull that underframe away enough to allow me to get a look at the axles. It's better. What we'll do is we'll undo the crank pin on this side as well, because this is the drive axle. And we shall see if the gear is split. Let's have a look. Well, the good news is it doesn't appear to be. So no, it's not a split drive gear. Drive gear is okay. Of course I can't get this back in now, can I? It's got very thin little washers. I've got to sit on the outside of the chassis, I would guess. Like so. Right, we need to disengage the motor. So to do that, yeah, I had to remove this socket anyway to undo that. Is that going to allow this to come off? Do this bracket. Allows the motor to come out. Could be the intermediate gear that's the problem. Right. Or the idler gear as it's called. Let's have a look. It's going to come out now. So you can just see on this double gear or intermediate gear or idler gear that the larger gear is split. You can just see it there. But that'll be enough to cause that problem, which is a bit of a shame, but we'll check the movement just to see if there's any other issue going on. I hope there isn't, but you just never know. Yeah, that's fine. Yep. So, we need another one of these. So in my box of spares, I found this gear here, which is the same one. This is part X6550. And I got this when I was working on the, I can't remember what locomotive it was, but I worked on a model fairly recently and it had the same problem, split double gear. And initially, I couldn't find it. Oh, it was the Duchess of Sutherland, I think, wasn't it? Initially, I couldn't find the part online, not the right part, but there was plenty other gears that are exactly the same for different models. So that's quite fortunate. We've got this. I don't need to go ordering a replacement. Looks pretty much the same. Same size. Yep. That'll do me. Right. Okay. Let's get this track out the road. And we'll pop that in. Which way is it going to go? I think it goes that way. Pop that in like that. We'll need to get some grease in there. Plenty grease. This is a mixture of silicone grease and PTFE grease. Some oil in there. Touch of there. Let's go in there like that. That wants to go. We'll give this a wee wipe out. Under all the wires. Goes down there. Screw this back on. Can't quite remember how those wires were routed. Right, let's stick this on the test track. There we go. Seems fine. Everything's nice and clean and reasonably well lubricated, so I don't think there's much point in me going digging around in here. I think we'll leave it as is. We've got that gear replaced. That was the main thing. Just double check these pickups. They're okay. Yeah, it's all fine. So I think we'll just get this back together. And like so. Now, I wasn't really paying attention when I took this out as to where these wires that connect to the tender go, which was a bit sloppy of me. So that wants to plug into there. Very careful when you're doing this. Hold it by the cylinders if you can, not the rods. It's just not going. Right, hang on a minute. I will take this off again. This is ridiculous. Just want to try and show you what I'm trying to do here. So this lug here is supposed to slot into that slot there, which on the face of it should be simple, but it's not going in. So I'm imagining the wires must stay on top of this. They don't want to be the same size as the wheels, and that little lug is supposed to slot into a little slot, which it appears to be doing, but it's like I can't get the chassis back far enough for the front to slot in cleanly. See, that's not slotting in. And this, these super detail models, they're so delicate, it'd be so easy to break it, so I can't use too much force. I mean, it was quite tricky to remove. It was quite, stiff to get it out. But that is just not going in. I think it's maybe the wires causing the trouble. They've got to go through a tiny little slot. There we go. Gee whiz. That was way harder than it should have been, but we got there. It was just, there's a kind of a knack to it. You've got to pull back and push at this end to get it to engage and make sure that these wires are not catching between the chassis and the body, and then it kind of just slots in, but it's really tight. Silly design, but they never ever take the serviceman into consideration when they design these things. It's all about oh, please don't go sucked inside the model. And last thing I want to do is to take this apart again. You know, they never think of ease of disassembly and reassembly. It's all about the most efficient way to put it together in the factory. Right, okay. Get the front screwed in. There we are. And then we need to reconnect the little speedometer thingy. Undo that crank. Right, that's it, right. That looks okay. That's okay. That's okay. Right. We'll get it plugged back into the tender. There we go. It's very nice, despite all the fiddly piddly nonsense. Right, we'll go and pull it out of the shed. Alright, let's bring out the Firth of Clyde. So there we are, that's Barrie's Firth of Clyde fitted with a new double gear and is running really nicely now. The hardest thing about that repair was refitting the body. Believe me, what you saw in the video was a very edited portrayal of just how many attempts it took me to get that body back on. Just daft design. There's no reason for fitting a body shell to be as tricky as that. But yeah, fortunately I had a spare double gear, so apart from refitting the body, this was an easy repair. It really didn't need anything else done to it. Wait till you see what's next though. Right, I shall get this packed up and sent back to Barrie. Catch you later, folks.